Get cozy, folks, and let me spin you a heartwarming yarn about an old soldier, his loving family, and the hard-learned lessons on appreciating the heroism found in our elders. Enjoy watching. Robert, now an elderly man, had once served as a soldier in the war in Afghanistan. He was driving his old Ford Pinto down the highway to visit some friends, reminiscing about the old days. In his retirement years, he often indulged in memories, immersing himself in these recollections. Robert had witnessed a lot in his life, both good and bad, but he was grateful that the warm moments far outweighed the tough ones. Robert's early life wasn't easy. He couldn't remember his parents and was raised in an orphanage until he came of age. The conditions were decent, tightly regulated with regular inspections, just as they should be. The kids were encouraged to explore different extracurricular activities, and Robert found his passion in sports, especially soccer. His talent didn't go unnoticed. He excelled, often returning from competitions with awards. The orphanage celebrated his victories with festive tea parties in his honor. After aging out of the orphanage, Robert went straight into the military, seeing it as his duty to serve his country. He was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division, one of the first units deployed to Afghanistan during the war. The young recruits were unprepared for the horrors of war but faced them without cowardice. Robert fought bravely, never cowering behind his comrades. Instead, he made trusted friends men he would willingly have given his life for. A month before his discharge, Robert and his unit found themselves unexpectedly ambushed while escorting a military convoy through a mountain pass. Despite their best efforts, many of his comrades were killed right before his eyes, a traumatic event that still haunted him. Robert himself suffered severe injuries, losing both his legs to shrapnel. Despite the doctor's efforts, the damage was irreparable, and he had to undergo amputations above the knees. Robert endured his hospital stay and the grueling rehabilitation that followed, but he struggled to come to terms with his new reality. How could a young man, still just a green recruit, be crippled for life? With no living relatives, Robert was overcome with dark thoughts, even considering taking his own life. But one person saw the depth of his despair, a young nurse named Maria. Maria was usually all smiles and gentle in her care, but one day she bluntly told Robert, "Don't even think about it. You'll have your chance to die, but you haven't even lived yet." Her words struck a chord with Robert. Over time, Maria's unwavering support and tough love helped Robert rediscover his will to live. He was smitten by her beauty and fiery spirit, and as fate would have it, Maria eventually became his wife. Robert could hardly believe that a woman as gorgeous and strong as Maria could love him, a disabled veteran. But love him she did, and with her by his side, Robert felt like a whole man again. With Maria's encouragement, Robert didn't succumb to despair or alcohol like so many others in his position. Instead, he got back on his feet, literally and figuratively. With the help of prosthetics, he went to college, earned a degree, and became a respected agronomist in Maria's hometown. Their life together was rich and fulfilling. They even had a son, Billy, who inherited his mother's stubbornness and his father's boundless energy. Billy was a spirited child, and like his father, he was drawn to the military. After the draft, Billy joined the 82nd Airborne Division, just like his dad. He served honorably, earning the respect of his captain and fellow soldiers. When he returned home in his army uniform, his parents were proud, but their joy was dampened when Billy announced that he was ready to start his own life in the city. Robert and Maria understood they couldn't hold on to their son forever. Billy joined the police force in the city and was assigned to a SWAT team, where he thrived. Meanwhile, Robert continued his life in the village, now alone after Maria's passing, keeping their farmstead running and indulging in his hobby of beekeeping. His honey was renowned throughout the area, a sweet reminder of the life he had built with Maria. One day, while driving his beloved Ford Pinto his little birdie down the highway to visit an old friend, Robert was targeted by some thugs running an auto insurance scam. These crooks typically preyed on elderly motorists, expecting them to be easy marks. But Robert wasn't just any old man, he was a battle-hardened veteran. The scammers, driving a flashy BMW, cut off Robert's Pinto and started harassing him, demanding money. They mocked him when they noticed his prosthetic legs, but Robert remained calm. He realized he couldn't physically overpower the three young men, so he tried a different tactic. He told them he didn't have much cash on him but could call his son, a scrawny, bookish kid who could bring the money. The scammers agreed, thinking they had an easy payday lined up. But when Billy arrived, it wasn't with a handful of cash. He brought 4 of his SWAT teammates, all heavily muscled and ready for a fight. The scammers quickly realized they had picked the wrong target. Billy and his team swiftly subdued them, giving them a taste of their own medicine before Robert called for them to let up. Rather than resorting to more violence, Robert decided to put the scammers to work on his farm, digging and turning over a full acre of untilled soil. It was a fitting punishment, a chance for the young men to do some honest labor. Afterward, Robert hugged his son and thanked him. He was too old to deal with this kind of nonsense anymore, but it was comforting to know that Billy had his back. Together, they paid their respects at Maria's grave before Robert continued on to see his old friend. The 2 lifelong pals stayed up late, reminiscing about the big and little things in life, grateful for the sons who still looked out for their fathers in their twilight years. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and click the notification bell when subscribing to Life Pages to be alerted about new, engaging stories when they're posted. Take care, everyone.